I knew immediately that she had gotten some of the local anesthetic into her circulation.
Maybe it wasn't that big a deal if nobody's talking about it.
I was really devastated by that.
And we have to grow up about how we act when that happens.
On November 18th of 1999, I was 37 years old and I was scheduled for a right ankle replacement surgery. However, I woke up several days later not knowing what happened. I had my chest rewired and almost lost my life, and nobody talked about it for the whole 10 days I was in the hospital.
Linda later found out that the nerve block medication administered prior to her surgery was accidentally delivered to her heart. She was revived from cardiac arrest.
I felt abandoned. Nobody talking to me, no emotional support, and nobody prepared me for the emotional impact this was going to have on myself and my family, and it was devastating.
I was the anesthesiologist that was involved with Linda's care on that day, and here I was, the one who basically performed the block, and it was all on my shoulders. So for me, there was just a need to acknowledge that responsibility and to step up to that.
Rick took an unusual step and wrote Linda a letter without the hospital's permission.
I was not able emotionally to even consider that until 6 months later, and then we were able to have a phone call.
It was the first time that we were able to talk about what happened, and really what made it the most powerful conversation for me was her offering me forgiveness.
I needed to forgive him for myself. My forgiving him would give me the ability to move on. When we got to talking about the institutional responses and the lack of support services over there, we realized that it was bigger than he and I.
It just really stood out to me as being a huge hole in the whole patient safety and quality movement, and something that needed to be addressed.
In 2002, with the help of Rick and a wonderful group of friends, Linda formed MITSS, Medically Induced Trauma Support Services.
The mission of MITSS is to support healing and restore hope to patients, families, and clinicians following adverse medical events. We do awareness and education, we do direct support services, and we do advocacy for action.
On behalf of MITSS, Linda and Rick travel the country, speaking at various healthcare conferences.
MITSS offers hope and connection and understanding that these patients and families haven't felt for sometimes years.
It helped the healing process. It validated my sense that medical errors and negligence had occurred, and it made me realize that I wasn't completely alone.
We work on developing a group curriculum which can later be replicated throughout the country, ongoing hotline support, phone counseling services, face-to-face interventions, also a referral network for nationwide services.
So the unique features of MITSS is that not only are you seeking to address the patient and the patient's emotional healing, but you're also very much addressing the physicians and the caregivers involved in that adverse event. And that's not been something that we've been very diligent about addressing in the past.
The very hospital where Rick and Linda's event happened, Brigham and Women's, was among the first to acknowledge the impact errors can have on patients and staff.
What MITSS is seeking to do was an absolutely different way to do things. Saying that you rewrote the policies, you fired the staff, it won't happen again, doesn't create the wow. What creates the wow is a leap.
MITSS has had a tremendous impact on the hospital. Essentially what's happened is it's started to change the culture.
In July of 2006, the hospital launched the Peer Support Team Initiative. It connects doctors and nurses with colleagues trained in peer support after adverse events happen. Recently, when an incident occurred,
we were able to organize a group debriefing within an hour and a half of the end of the case. Every surgeon went, every anesthesiologist went, every nurse went, and every tech went without even a word worth of convincing them.
Well, sometimes things go wrong when a doctor treats a patient, whether it's a medical mistake or a complication.
Gradually, Linda and Rick's story was picked up by the national media. In 2006, MITSS received the National Patient Safety Foundation's prestigious SOCIUS Award.
It's transitioned from sending a message that has typically been responded to as "you're doing great work, keep it up," to "you're doing great work and we need you to come to our institution to show us how to do it."
MITSS is the only organization of its kind. As the demand for its services rapidly grows, Linda has big plans.
Because there have been so many barriers that MITSS has been up against, cultural, organizational, within healthcare, I get emails and phone calls from patients and families throughout the country that say, "Oh my God, this is exactly what I've needed." It's really amazing. We've done some amazing things, engaged some communities who I would have never thought we would be able to